2, 1. We're live.
Hi.
Hello there. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, or whatever time zone it is wherever you in the world. And we are live on the Law by Night YouTube channel playing some Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition. And I am excitedly nervous. And before I make a mess everywhere, let's go and introduce these wonderful players. I'm going to start with the person who is on my left, which is Sarah.
Hey everybody, I'm Sarah. I use any pronouns. I'm going to be playing Hannah tonight, who uses she, her pronouns. I'll be playing your friendly local blood sorcerer Tremere. And is there anything else you wanted me to say?
Anything about your character, if you want.
Oh, my character is the vampire version of lactose intolerant. She will spend a point of willpower to eat garlic. Thank you.
Maybe I might remove the mess bit I was going to make and just give it to somebody else instead. Moving swiftly onwards, we're going to go to the person to my right. Rika, who the fuck are you playing?
Hi, I'm Rika, and I'm playing Medea, who is a very shy and lovely toreador, all into the music stuff. But, well, being a musician while being a vampire in the Camarilla is a bit difficult.
They probably want you playing harpsichord all the time, but now we're going to get a bit more 21st century with all that.
Yes, please.
Moving downwards, the person who's marked on my screen is TT. Who are you and who are you playing?
Hey everybody, Kitty Kimchi here, and tonight I'm going to be playing TTX, and she is going to be your Bruja baddie Black Panther.
I absolutely love that. I got the character sheet and I saw that concept and I was just like, ooh, very excited what you're going to get up to with that. Moving along, Youngles, I believe I've got that correct. Might have got it wrong.
Yes, no, you're perfect. Hi,
Huzzah.
I'm Youngles. Yes, last gen. Whatever makes you happy. I'm playing Betty. They, she pronouns for both of us, who has a very interesting relationship with death. So, yeah,
fair. And I bet you can't work out what that clown may well be. And finally, last but certainly not least of the players, who are you?
Hey, how's it going? I'm Byron. I'm a bassist, and I'm definitely a Camarilla kindred, for sure. In real life, my name is Elise. I am known as Elise Halls on Twitter, and Skipper54 everywhere else. I use they, he pronouns. Byron, gender, in this economy, not for me.
Definitely not. Mortal construct all the way.
Sure.
And I feel I don't need to be introduced, but I'm just going to do it on the off chance that somebody watches this later on, or you're relatively new to the channel. Hi, I'm Law by Night, or the Law by Night podcast guy, where I talk about World of Darkness things. And over the last almost 4 years now, I have gained a reputation for waffling away about Vampire the Masquerade and Wraith the Oblivion under various different guises. And just talking about World of Darkness in character, presenting the lore, mechanics, book reviews, and all that shawazzle. And if you told me nearly 4 years ago that I would be at this point where I am at 10,000 YouTube subscribers, which is the reason why that we're here, it's a celebratory occasion, I tell you to fuck off and I'd just be laughing at you because I still can't get over that I have more than 500. And then very quickly after that, it was 1,000 and so on and so forth. And we're here now at 10,300 and something. And I am just speechless about that. And I'm just exceptionally grateful for all the support I had from various different people, and I'm actually going to thank some of them now because I'm a soppy git, and that's how we roll here. First of all, I'm just going to give a little shout out and thank you to Sarah, who's doing all the technical shite tonight. Sarah's also appeared on various games on the channel. With every character concept that she has done has been very interesting and unique, and always bringing her A game. And outside of that, she's also a great friend and provided a lot of comfort for some really unpleasant things that I'm not going to go into now because that's not either the place here or there. And I'm just very grateful for everything you've brought to our friendship and to the channel. So thank you, Sarah. It means a lot. I'm also going to give a little personal shout out to Elise, who what they failed to mention for one reason or another, they were once the community manager of By Night Studios, which is the place that does all the vampire LARP stuff. And Elise was probably the first person in the TTRPG space that recognized the work that I was putting into, and we quickly became friends. And my review of the Vampire LARP book, which you can go and check out at your own leisure, was a gift from them and the company, and I still treasure that dearly, and I treasure very much all the support that I've got from you. You've been my little cheerleader throughout all these years, and I'm just very grateful. It just means a lot. So again, thank you. Rolling on with the soppy thing, I'm also just going to give a little thank you to my amazing partner Rika, who we've been together for over a year now, which doesn't sound like a lot, but with my track record, that's quite a bit. If I start saying the amazing things that you've done and the amazing friendship that we have, I'm just going to start crying, and we're going to leave that to the actual charity bits that I've got to talk about. But thank you, babe. I love you. You're amazing. I'm also just going to give a little thanks to Matthew Dawkins and Travis Ledge and Onyx Path for giving me a variety of different opportunities of running games on the Twitch channel there, and a variety of other things. Matthew in particular, who's been very supportive. Travis, who's given me all the opportunities. Steffi Devan, who allowed me to do a bit of collaboration with her other TTRPG projects. I'm also very grateful for World of Darkness and White Wolf Publishing for conjuring all this dark, controversially dank vampire lore stuff that we all just love to play and criticize and just roll our eyes at from time to time. I'm also going to give a little shout out to Faye the Pagan, Ellie Collins, and for their awesome support throughout the years. And last but not least, the 10,000 or so of you that have subscribed to the YouTube channel, and the many of you who listen to the podcast and other podcasting places before that went up the Swanee, because I would not be here without your support and your criticisms and the comments on YouTube and sharing it with your friends. And even those who like to be snarky and just complaining that I'm pronouncing words wrong, because it still haunts me to this day on my Zanitsi episode. There are so many of you that like to criticize my pronunciation and vicissitude, because that amount of hate, spread that, because that's how YouTube works. So thank you ever so much, all of you. But on a serious note, I would not be here without all the support and love from just the fans of the podcast and material that I do. It's it's surreal just being able to sit here and say all of that. So again, from my cold, dank, beating heart, thank you ever so much for everything. And I suppose now I should mention about the other aspect of this stream, because this is a charity stream, if I remember what I wrote on the title of this live stream. We are raising money tonight for a UK-based charity called Pro Dogs. The dog who you saw on the intermission screen, that is my dog, my King Charles Cavalier, Holly. We got her just before Christmas of 2019, before the dark times came upon us. I would probably be in a very bad place without that dog. When we got her, she was all skin and bones. Like, we don't know how old she is. She's definitely a puppy. I won't go into much more detail about that because it's kind of triggering, but she's in a very happy place now. And and I just want to give my little thanks to Pro Dogs, the charity who rescues these dogs. Is all run through people who have their homes set up as foster homes, and they raise them up and then they pass them on to families who will look after them properly. Unlike some other places in the UK where you go to them, you see an animal, oh, I'll have that, buy it and take away. Pro Dogs, they make sure they find the right home with the right dog, because some dogs don't like to be with other animals, some want to be with other animals, and so on and so forth. And I have a message on our little group chat here just asking if we can see Holly, and I'm assuming the rest of you would want to see the Cavalier. I will just check the comments because I'm not paying much attention to that at the moment. I'm just going to hop back into the chat and see if y'all are interested in seeing the Cavalier. Okay, yes, there's quite a bit of attention for Holly here. Okay, if you allow me a couple of minutes, I will go and grab the dog. I'll show off the little piggy.
I'm so excited. I've never seen the dog like in video before. I've only seen like the plethora of pictures.
I know.
I'm
Every time I see
thrilled.
Holly on my Twitter feed, I'm just like, ah, baby.
She looks so soft.
She is. She's very fucking cute.
What's her personality like? Do you know, Rika?
Difficult to say. A bit shy, but also very cuddly, which is the
Mhm.
most important thing.
She almost looks like a copy of my Cavalier that I had a few years ago. And the first time I saw her, I was like, "Did you post a photo of my dog? How'd you get that?"
Oh my goodness. Youngles, do you have any animals?
I don't right now because
I
I
see.
have kids. So
That's an animal. There you go.
they're a little bit they want a dog though really bad. And I'm like, okay.
Here's
It's
our
time.
baby.
It's the baby. Hi, sweetheart. Oh, look at the
So,
baby dog.
This is Holly.
Hi, Holly.
Hi,
Yeah.
Holly.
She's adorable. What a princess.
The
She
flop.
is.
She's so dramatic. I love her.
Holly, I'm
She
sorry,
likes-
but you have to play VTM now.
Yes,
Oh, she's-
Holly's the
Gangrel is
storyteller.
here.
I agree.
She is used to all of this, so it's dogs like this that we're raising money for tonight. And if you want little cute little meisters like this to have happy homes, you'll have the link that's on the screen. That takes you to the GoFundMe page in question. GoFundMe, rather. I can English, believe it or not. Thank you, Holly. There's also, you can find in the link in the description below, as well as a more filled out information about the chat in question. I will now gently plop her over here, that being my bed, and she can go and explore over there. Right, now onto the game itself. We're obviously playing Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition. I'm not going to go into the ins and outs of it, because if you're here, I think you know what this is all about. But it's a quick synopsis, just on the off chance. We're playing vampires. It's in a modern setting. It's a modern political horror game. Blood is involved, and obviously this being a horror game, this may have some elements that you may want us to sit out from or take a little break from, which is absolutely fine. Because as the storyteller here, it's my job to make sure that everybody that's playing feels safe and comfortable, and to the extent of the players as well. So if you need a few minutes to, you know, get yourself back together again, have a drink of water, whatever, you do that. Or if this is not for you, that's totally fine as well. Because as a friend of mine once said, horror without consent is trauma, and I do not want to inflict that on anybody involved. So we've done with our consent sheets, we've talked about our do's and don'ts, and we'll also know what we're going to do if things get a bit too much, because what might be okay on one day may not be okay on another day. Sorry, I have to catch my breath a little bit because I was rushing trying to find that dog who did run away from me.
Of course she did. She's camera shy.
Yes, she knew what was coming.
We'll send biscuits to make up for it.
I'm sure she will absolutely love that. So yeah, there isn't anything else for me to add and waffle on about now. As a reminder, you've got the link in the description below. It's also on screen. So we're aiming for 500 UK pounds. If we can get above that, that would be fantastic. If we can get to that, that would also be fantastic. But basically, any amount of money that's being raised will also be fantastic as well, because it will help them out to get the supplies and the things that they need. And should they go through any hard and troubled times, that's also going to help them out as well. So all the support you can give would be greatly appreciated. And you get to have fun while doing it too, watching these wonderful people play some vampire at long last. So, are we all sitting comfortably? Good. Then let's begin. I'm sure I needn't tell you about the vampires and their masquerade. You've been around the block, as they say. You know about the rebellious rowdy anarchs and those pesky antagonistic Sabbat. But this tale isn't about them, but the dated Camarilla and their response to the modern hunters of the night. In 2004, the NSA in the USA managed to crack ShrekNet, a Nosferatu-run network, and gained first-hand knowledge of dank vampire lore. Sharing their knowledge with other intelligence agencies, the United Secret Services contacted the Vatican, whom they knew to have experience with fighting the undead. The church accepted, granting them access to its resources, as well as the experienced witch hunters of the Society of Leopold. They would coordinate attacks across the world, causing damage to kindred society in scales of destruction and military ferocity never encountered before. A vampire pertaining to the Toreador clan would dub this new wave of genocide the Second Inquisition. But what does any of this have to do with tonight's tale? Well, in 2012, Operation Antigen obliterated the vampire population of London. While some kindred do remain, the result of the attack shook up how vampires within the Camarilla of the United Kingdom, barely, operate. Many don't use public transport, electronic communication is but a myth, and some places don't have Elysium or the titles such as Primogen, Sheriff, or Prince. Guildford, in the county of Surrey, follows a similar idea. Guildford is often thought to be a city containing the large Guildford Cathedral that gloriously watches over the large population to boot. Guildford is actually a large modern town with a tall 11th century castle, 2 well-renowned universities, and many video game companies including fan favourites Hello Games, Ubisoft, Supermassive Games, and EA. One of these universities is the Academy of Contemporary Music, or ACM for short. Guildford has always had a thriving music scene, but the existence of this university has brought this element of Guildford town to life. You can probably see where I may be going with this, but just to remove any layers of doubt, when the smoke cleared following Operation Trinity in 2013, a Toreador by the name of Axel claimed praxis. He would reimagine the structure of the Camarilla under a more musical motif. He is the CEO of Guildford Record Labels, who has a producer rather than a seneschal, who occasionally gets advice from the record label's managers or primogens. You get the idea. Our vampires tonight, some barely neonates and some within the neonate bracket rather nicely, have been invited to meet together for the first time in the Rodborough buildings, found within the town centre. It is a Grade A listed building that was once an old car factory in the 1900s, now as a building of 2 halves. ACM occupies the left, and a pub on the right, Weatherspoons or Spoons. A match made in heaven. Anyway, you are all meeting with the CEO to lose your baby teeth, as it were, and make your mark in the world of darkness. And that snore was Holly going into full fruition there, and I'm not going to do anything about that, so you can enjoy that. So, turning back to the vampires briefly, who would be the first to arrive at this pub/university?
Me.
I feel like Betty would wait outside to see everybody else come in, or who's coming in, or who's going to be there first before they make a decision on how they are going to like enter in.
Sounds sensible enough. And what does Betty look like tonight?
Betty is kind of stuck in an era that no longer exists, although they weren't necessarily part of that era to begin with, so that's totally fine. They have a hat, I don't know, like a flat brimmed hat. Their hair is braided in pigtails simply because it's easy, not because it's like aesthetic, but it's the easiest, fastest thing that they ever did, and it never changes, and they're not going to bother with it. When they were embraced, they were on their way to a goth themed dress up party, and they just stuck with it ever since, because why not? It kind of fits the mode. So Betty is wearing this gray black like dress sweater that's really, really plain, with like black leggings and just plain like small heels. Yeah.
So I guess blended in quite rather nicely with the night.
I try.
As you're sort of standing outside, it's quite clear that there are 2 separate entrances. There would be some right in front of you, these 2 old wooden doors where people are coming in and out, very different sizes and colors. There's also an entrance around the side where it'd be closer to the main road. There's sort of like a gate, sort of like my iron sort of fencey sort of bit to stop people from, obviously walking into the road. You're sort of standing in the middle of a car park. You've got the building in front of you. What's next to you on your left is what's known as the Electric Theatre, which is kind of like a small theatre where you have various stand-ups perform and other music acts. The ACM University also owns this building as well, which some of its students also occupy for. Some of them are for performance-based exams and mini concerts, as it were.
I feel like Betty would start getting distracted with wondering when all of these people were going to meet their next big tragedy. And so they just get lost associating in that thought.
That is an interesting thought to get lost into. Let's see who I'm going to pluck and place onto the scene. Hannah, what do you look like?
Hannah is a woman who looks to be in her early 20s, but is actually in her 30s. And she is walking head down, looking at a hand-drawn map with directions on where to go. She is not local to the area. She is only a recent transplant. And she's wearing a rather nice work blouse with a pair of jeans, and the blouse is a little bit rumpled, not quite tucked in all the way, and her shoes look like they've definitely seen better days. She's wearing a pair of Converse that are so old and worn that her pinky toe almost pokes out on one side of one. She just hasn't bothered to replace them yet. It's fine. And she's looking at her sheet and walking, and she probably almost crashes into Betty as Betty is standing there thinking about the demise of the people within the other building.
Yeah, so this individual who walks in, could easily be irrecognizable, basically, to either somebody who is homeless or one of the students that you probably see coming out inside of the pub.
Okay. Betty's looks at you non-reactive, a little bit reactive, but kind of just sorry. Your shoe has a hole in it.
Oh, it actually has 4. If you
4.
Yeah, and she'll do that thing where she grabs her ankle and pulls it up behind her butt, and she's yeah, they're on the bottom too. I just hi, I'm Hannah.
Hi. Betty, I don't touch people.
Oh, that's that's fair. People are gross in Jeremy, and
right, and you're probably not. It's
I mean, I don't. You're here to go to the.
Are you also here to go to the thing?
Yes. Okay. So you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I've just been waiting. Because sometimes when there's too many people, I can smell them, and it's not great to be by myself in those instances.
You must really hate crowded places in the summertime.
I do. Yeah. It's the worst.
Even at night, it's so warm.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do you want to keep waiting here, or do you need a buddy to walk in with?
And Betty will kind of just look around and yeah, buddy would be good.
Okay.
You're not you're safe and stuff, right? I don't have to be on guard around you, right? I just want to get that out of the way now before we walk together. Should I walk behind you?
On guard for what?
Well, because some people are just sometimes not tricky folks out there.
I mean, I'm not a serial killer if that. Well, I mean, technically,
Perfect.
Aren't we all serial killers?
It's really hard to ask people that.
It is.
I haven't quite figured out how to
get
it out in a non-awkward way, but we can walk in together. I'm okay.
Oh, actually, you know what? As she kind of walks next to you, she'll just be, you know what? I have found what works does actually, it helps when you're asking for I like to ask for consent first and just all things. So if I'm walking around, I'll put some of those Scarecrow brand fake fangs on, and then I'll find a person who's really really into that when I'm out hunting. And then it's just like, yeah, can I bite you? And they're like, yeah, totally, sure. I'm like totally into that. That's my thing. And I'm just like, perfect. Come with me. And then I just, try not to kill him.
Yeah, no, I have a very different approach that involves dungeons. But yes, same. Consent, so important.
Like the gaming kind of dungeons?
Sure. Yeah, those kind. Mm-hmm.
Oh, cool. Nice.
So as the awkwardly placed yin to the other's yang sort of walks, I guess, into this pub, I'm going to say that as these two enter, another kindred will enter just for the dramatic emphasis. Brian, what do you look like?
Let's see. Well, TT would walk in and she has her arms rested on a bat that's resting on her shoulders. And she has black hair, black beret, circle frame glasses, leather fingerless gloves, and of course, what is a Bruja without a black leather jacket?
Of course. I mean, what is a vampire without a bit of black anyway, or a bit of leather? But you're probably one of the more imposing figures that's there. Are you trying to look imposing, or is that just comes with the brand?
It just comes with the brand.
Fair. I like that. And Brian, I imagine that you are adorned in similar attire, similar but different.
Yeah, so Byron is outside, he's having a smoke, and they come over and, they have their bass on their back because we're meeting a music man. We want to make sure we come to impress. But this kindred definitely reeks of anarch material, leather jacket, 1,000 pins, safety pins, the flannel underneath, a shirt that reads "No one cares," the worst little mustache and soul patch you ever did see. And they look maybe 19. They are not, like, they're technically an adult, wouldn't even be able to drink in America. And I check their watch and they're like, it's like 10 pounds. I'm late enough. And they put their cigarette out and they go ahead towards the pub.
It's easy. You see this individual that kind of fits with your sort of crowd, as it were, enter into the pub as well, if you wish to enter.
I enter.
Cool. And then there was one. What the fuck do you look like?
Medea is wearing a baggy band shirt, baggy jeans as well, black of course, and is adorned in some jewelry, something like this. And they look very fucking tired. Like you don't think vampires could be tired, but Medea does look tired somehow. And they would just suddenly appear next to Hannah and Betty, like they probably went with them and they just didn't notice.
Fair. So between the five of you do all look like that you would blend with the usual university crowd. Probably TT stands out a bit too much. Not too much, a bit different. Maybe there's an odd turn here or there, but nothing out of the ordinary, but just assumes just another one of a rock music student. And it's quite a common sight actually when you enter this very, I guess, old, somewhat ornate, wooden looking, cramped pub. It is not an uncommon sight to see the odd students sitting with all their mates laughing. There'll be somebody with an electric guitar just plucking away. You wouldn't hear much unless you activated certain discipline powers. You can hear little metallic twinking and plinking of strings that they're like shredding and degenting and all that stuff, just because that's just what guitarists do. They just have to fidget with their bit of wood. And I'd say that for convenience sake, that the three of you enter from one direction and the two of you enter from another direction where there is a nice crossroads. I'll mention that the pub sort of contains on like 3 different levels. You've kind of got like this ground floor where you've all entered. There's a little downstairs that goes down just a little bit. So not like an underground bit, but it's a notable dip. But there's also an upstairs bit as well. Both upper and lower, and I did that the wrong way around, both upper and lower sections do have their own bars.
Byron looks around and I am explicitly only looking for the CEO. I'm not interested in getting a drink or anything. I also look for a no smoking sign.
Well, in the UK, there is no smoking in pubs at all, so you'd have to step outside.
I do it anyway.
I have made a note.
Mm-hmm.
So the five of you have sort of like met at a crossroads. Betty, Hannah, and Medea kind of together as a group of three, and Byron and TT have come together. So you're sort of like,
Yeah, I think Hannah and Betty wouldn't have noticed Medea yet because Medea didn't say anything, and they would just like ask, "Do we need to go upstairs or downstairs?"
Oh my goodness.
God, where did what the?
I need to work on my skills.
Sam.
Are you all here for the party?
The party?
Yeah, the party. You know,
I
you
don't.
here to meet a musically inclined individual?
Are they
Is that-
musically inclined?
I don't know. I don't.
The CEO
Is there a party?
Oh. Yeah.
of the record label?
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go. God, you guys are
Well, just because they're a CEO doesn't
Holy
mean they're
crap.
musically inclined.
you guys are real fresh. All right, let's get you. Let's find this guy.
Betty looks at Hannah and is like, "Why does a CEO mean a party? I'm so confused."
I don't know. I think it's a music industry thing.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm in tech, so you know.
I'm
TT kind of says slyly to Byron, the revolution has always been in the hands of the young.
You know what? You are so right. But my God, do I have to hold their little baby hands? Come on, kids. Let's go find the CEO.
I don't have baby hands. What are they talking about?
so which way all of you moving? You're going
I'm
upstairs,
gonna go
down?
upstairs.
I think
Any
Byron just became the face
self-respecting-
of the party.
Yeah, I think we're just following wherever Byron goes now.
No, you said we're the
Good
kids. You said we're the
presence.
kids, so
Yeah.
lead the way.
Fuck.
You better
I'm
take
going
us out for
upstairs,
ice cream
you
after
did
soccer
it.
practice.
We
Every
didn't.
prince is gonna be upstairs observing his domain, so I'm going upstairs.
I thought he was a CEO, not a prince.
I didn't say that shit out loud.
Okay, sorry.
No vampire words come out of this boy.
Got it.
So all of you make your way upstairs, and talking about smells earlier on, it's very much a huge cook pot of various different aromas. But the thing that stands out to all of you the most is the smell of blood. Of course, you all being vampires, it's something that you're always aware of, something that you're always wanting, needing, but you've been taught better. Because just to submit to your wills of the beast within your rib cages all the time would lead to horrendous destruction, both on whatever it is that you're feeding upon, probably people around you, but arguably most importantly, yourselves. When you are able to resist, you're all at hunger 1, so mechanically speaking, yes, you're always hungry. Vampires are always hungry. But when you're upstairs, the decor is kind of similar before, but there's obviously this wooden railing. You sort of can peer over and look down the side. There is a window in a far corner that you can sort of see into part of the ACN building. Not much, just a lot of brick and a door that leads into one of the studios slash, I guess the equivalent of their lecture halls, which is basically just a variety of performance stages. But it's not much. You see like the odd person walk through there. It's dark because the lights don't shine very brightly. It's a very warm and cozy vibe, but I doubt very much you're feeling warm and cozy. But there is a table that allows all of you to sit at if you so wish.
Do we see anybody of
TT6.
importance?
I think this is worth making the first roll of the night. If you could make for me a wit and investigation and see if you can find anybody of importance. Anybody who wants to do this may, well, do so.
Oh, did we start with 1 hunger, by the way?
Yes, you all have
Mhm.
1 hunger. I'm in a generous mood today. I'm not employing my hunger mechanic.
That's my last.
House rule, as it were. Wise to ask.
I got a critical success, as well as several other successes. Hang on.
All right. You let me know once you got all those together. We got a 3, 5, 2. And what did you get, Hannah and Betty? Presuming that you're...
I'm still trying to figure out whether it's polite to sit or stand.
I'm not sure either, so I'm waiting to see what everybody else does.
That is totally fair. So we got 5, 2, and 3, correct? Okay, so we'll start with you all managed to those who got 2 and 3, you don't really see anybody of any particular importance. You might see like a vampire here, or that you might have recognized, someone that you might have spotted in Elysian that's either sitting or talking to somebody, probably chatting someone up. He does in exaggerated air quotes. But you, Byron, standing by the bar, talking to someone who's on the other side of the bar, you recognize somebody who in kindred circles would refer to as the bodyguard, i.e. the sheriff. This is Big Blubber Bob, or Triple B, or Big Bloody Bob, depending on who you're talking to. As the name would subtly imply, they are a large, round individual, about 6'5", holding a big, solid guitar case. You, Brian, would know them as somebody who regularly performs at the Boiler Room, one of the many venues in Guildford. It usually holds a lot of like alternative rock, and punk stuff. He's standing there with like this leather vest on, a wife beater, torn up jeans. And of course, you know this individual who looks all scarred and battered up. The story that goes with them is that they survived a house fire at a young age, but you know that this bodyguard / sheriff is one of the Nosferatu, who's making very little effort to blend in, as it were.
All right. I mean, don't hide your natural beauty. Byron is gonna saunter on over to the bar, their own base in its own case slung over their back, and kind of lean on the bar real casual and just say, "Hey, Big B, looking for a jam sesh tonight, or are you on duty?"
He sort of turns around, he smirks. You see like a crooked fang just poke through like a child's drawing of an orc, and he smirks. "Oh, I'm here on duty. I'm looking for you and a few others. Are you all here?"
"Yep, all here and accounted for. Is the CEO ready to consider my offer of switching teams yet?"
You keep thinking that. Unfortunately, the CEO won't be seen yet tonight. He sent me to fill in for the favor instead.
Oh my God, of course he won't. He's too busy.
Yeah, busy. Let's go with that. So, leave me to the others and we can get down to business. And he cracks all of his fingers rather loudly. The woman behind the bar just sort of shudders because it sounds very unpleasant.
Wonderful, baby B. Let's go. And I
told you it's Triple B, Big B, but not Baby B. That's somebody else, and it's like some signal in the university. They get a bit titchy about it.
Okay. Whatever you say, Big B.
So you lead him back to where you're standing. He's sort of waddling with these big old strides, like squeezing past people with this big hardback case in his hands. And the rest of you are now aware of this individual that I described moments ago. What are you all thinking as this individual is walking towards you?
This is going to be fun.
Betty is comparing hand sizes between them and everybody else's hands.
Fair enough.
Before they notice that this person is approaching them. And then they kind of look at everybody else's reaction to see what they do. And then they try to like mimic this like nonchalant cool, because Byron mentioned party. So Betty doesn't want to like, you know, be in the wrong party mood vibe or whatever. So Betty just kind of like, you can see like if you were watching, you would see Betty start like trying it one stance and then like, no, that's probably not cool. And then like trying a different stance just to like see if we can maybe no, okay.
Could you make for me a charisma and etiquette roll, just to see how well you sort of appear appropriately?
How I handle myself.
Betty, you are sweeter than cotton candy. You're gonna give me a damn cavity.
Wait, what did you want me to roll? Sorry.
Charisma and
Uh-huh.
etiquette, or manipulation and etiquette, whichever one you think's more appropriate.
Uh, they're both not good, so it'll be fine. Maybe manipulation. 3 successes.
You're able to sort of bluff your way through, just sort of like standing within the confines of your attire, just to make yourself look presentable and not look like you're nervous or whatever worried emotions are scurrying through your brain and your core right now. Hannah, are you trying to look the part or compare hand sizes? What's the thought processes that's going on here?
Hannah's just wondering if she was also supposed to bring a musical instrument to this gathering, and is just kind of staring off into the middle distance, not even in the direction that Byron went. Just contemplating life. There doesn't appear to be a thought behind the eyes.
Which is totally fair. This is a rather intimidating situation. This is all very weird and very unusual, and you're probably still getting used to the other weird bit that is your vampiric existence. So totally understandable there that you may have those moments from time to time. You have my condolences. And Medea, how about you?
Medea probably wouldn't know that they have 2 points in etiquette, but would it be appropriate to use all?
What's the goal here with that? Just to make yourself look more appealing, part of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. You could, well, you could use it as part of a charisma roll, and if you don't have etiquette, you could use subterfuge to bluff your way through it.
I do have etiquette, but just to make myself look more like approachable and nice and, you know.
Okay, so if you want to use that with awe, you can do that with charisma and etiquette.
Yes, let's do that.
Awesome sauce. And just flicking through the comments whilst you're doing that, the number of you that are intrigued by the Sabbat is a bit worrying.
You should just run a Sabbat one shot.
I agree.
Another one. Oh, you bend my arm, why don't you?
I will if I have to. 4 successes.
4 successes. Well, the mortal livestock around you, or the kind, if we're going to be more Camarilla about it, see that bending of the arms working already. They instantly turn their head to you that you are the hot shit, like you are the center of attention. Now, this would have a similar effect to the vampires here, but if you're not wanting to have your attention drawn to them instead, you'd have to make a roll to oppose this, but I cannot remember the roll that you have to do. Let's see. Composure and intelligence. If you want to stay focused on your hand comparing sizes or drifting off into space, or just not pay attention to Medea, could you roll for me Medea manipulation and presence versus composure and intelligence?
3 successes.
What's it again? Manipulation and presence?
Yes.
Oh, damn. 1 success.
Oof.
Wait, what did we have to roll?
If you wanted to resist being taken over by Medea's supernatural charm, roll composure and intelligence.
I don't think Betty would resist. I think Betty would not resist.
Fair.
Yeah.
2. So yeah, the 2 opposing kindred are able to ignore this supernaturally, powerful aura. It just, except for Betty, who was just like standing there all, I guess for lack of a better phrase, kooky.
Mm-hmm.
Just but just able, you've managed to control yourself, but as that happened, your head, I can imagine your head just sort of like snapping in place, looking towards me. It's like, whoa. And then Byron, you come in with big blubber Bob. Bob is very much aware of what's going on here, and he's looking at you, Medea. The smile, this big grin that you see him approaching you, it just sort of quickly dissipates, and he just shakes his head disapprovingly. There's a slight smirk there because he's got a sense of humor, but you clearly see that he's not impressed. Right, you lot. Good evening. Bobby, your bodyguard, and he brings over this massive sausage Herculean hand. We've got some big hands here, Betty, just in case you were curious.
What? I have big hands? Is that what you
No,
just said to me?
I was saying he's coming in for a handshake.
He has big hands. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, no, Betty would like just completely wide-eyed if I'm able to pay attention. And just
I'd say that you would find it difficult and just to barely focus. Bob picks up on this like, all right, Media, you made your point.
Oh, come on. They're showing off a little. Leave them alone.
Huh? What?
Hi, Hannah. Welcome back.
What?
This is Bob.
Oh, hi.
Big blubber Bob.
Big.
The CEO ain't coming to visit you tonight. He's been called away on some other business, so he sent me instead. So you want to all take a seat, and he like smacks the table next to him makes a massive thud. The mortals that are on the other side of the tables opposite like jump and they're like taken out of this trance, as it were.
Well, I sit right down, right next to Bob.
Well, Bob will sit right on the edge, and he man spreads to full effect.
I put my leg over his, almost like I'm sitting in his lap.
He will wince.
Mm-hmm. So what's the game, Bob?
Well, my understanding is that either you're wanting to spread your baby wings and make a name of yourselves in the record label, or you owe someone a little favor, or your your managers, as it were, and he gives a little wink, and you've been asked to redeem the favor. The CEO has been called away, and he's set upon me to set the task for you, and I think it's quite simple. It's simple in its execution, but it's also will demonstrate that you can get a job done by yourself. So, what do we say?
I'm going to need some details here, sweet Bob, before we agree to anything.
So sensible answer. So, I basically want you to go on a little road trip for me. Make a little delivery and dispatch it in a disclosed location, and I'm not prepared to relieve to you at this time. Rather simple, really. Just take a little van and a little road trip somewhere, drop it off, don't open up what's inside, and then come back. Easy, right?
You want us to get a package, not open it, and deliver it.
That's right.
And you couldn't have asked FedEx.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that.
And you couldn't use FedEx, Amazon. What are we delivering?
Well, you see, as I said, I wasn't going to disclose that in front of people because they're the other people that are looking for it. And those more regular services might be intercepted.
Okay, like I QA tested Red Dead Online before it went live, and I know how the delivery missions work. So like, are people going to be like coming in probably like attacking us, or do we need to worry about like it exploding in our hands? Is it something that's live that we have to feed it? Like,
well, there may be others that are looking for it. I don't think it's going to explode unless you drive particularly badly, which is a little bit of a concern. No, I wouldn't have to worry about feeding it inside. Definitely not something you'd have to worry about.
okay.
And the catch? There's always a catch.
Don't know.
Byron, the catch is we need to agree. Do we have a choice here?
Probably not.
A plus to you there. Fantastic work. Now, as I think this is quite a simple task, I don't think we need many questions, but I'm just going to entertain the notion because I can see we got different experience levels here, and I'm feeling in a charitable mood tonight. So, if you've got any other questions, I'll take one or two more questions.
Do your hands get
way.
bigger as you get older?
You used one of our fucking questions for that?
He sort of leans in closer, puts his massive trunk of an arm on the desk, like, do my hands get bigger as I get older? Are you like talking about me specifically? Or no, of course not, my arms don't get bigger. Fucking muppet.
I looked at Hannah and goes, I don't think I explained it correctly.
I don't think you explained it to me correctly either, but you know, it's fine. We'll try again. Oh, I got one. What's the winning lottery numbers? That's what my dad used to ask.
That's a good question.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
He lets out the most exasperated sigh. You can see in his eyes he is contemplating his life choices and his decisions up until this point. So if you just see this question, why was he assigned to do this? There's all these other signs of regret, but he's able to control himself. He's a professional. He's done this sort of thing before. I don't know. Sorry. You're going to have to ask somebody else. There may be somebody more in your line of work who may be able to know. And I believe that's your 2 questions up. And he sort of like slides out. His big old boots are scraping across the floor, picks up his guitar case, and I believe he looks a big old, definitely legitimate Rolex on his wrist, that your transportation is waiting outside. So I think you best get a move on.
I don't think he likes us.
I don't like you either. So let's go.
Hey, you be nice to Betty. They're great.
I think
Medea
it's the
just-
baby hands.
Medea just sends
Your
up
hands are just
and kind of blends with the crowd in there and just tries to get out and obviously deactivates all for that.
Fair. And TT, what was you doing here now other than probably sitting or standing in bewilderment of this exchange that's just happened?
She just leaves.
I also just leave.
Totally fair.
Mm-hmm.
And Hannah?
I guess I'll go with the rest.
Fair enough. And Bob is the last one to leave. He's following you lot on these big old strides. You can hear the thud of every big footstep that he makes. There may be some of you who will be thinking, like, is he following us out just like for your own safety, or is it just a coincidence thing? But whatever. You go down the stairs, mingle with the crowd. It's gotten a bit bigger now. It's gotten a bit louder. And he follows you out and right into like this main car park area bit that I described earlier on. There is a big old white van. It looks secondhand because it's all dirty and beat up and stuff. And he slams his hand on the bonnet sort of thing. There's your ride. Just tip the driver on your way. I'll see you later. And he sort of like takes these big old strides off, just starts whistling a tune to himself.
Cheers, mate. Let's go.
Bye, Bob.
He sort of like raises a hand, like it's like a half-assed wave as he's sort of waddling up this small incline.
I liked him.
Well, our carriage awaits.
Indeed it does. And sitting at the driver's seat, there is a man with this glazed look over his face and his eyes.
I'm not going to ask any questions about that, and I'm going to get in.
You,
I'm going to get really close to him to see if he flinches.
the driver.
Yeah. Just like stare and then get in the car.
Come on, Wednesday. Quit being weird.
As you do that, but you don't. He doesn't do anything. It's like he's sort of in place, like almost zombified in his stance. Just sitting at the driver's wheel with this blank look on his face.
Okay. And Betty will get in the car.
So are you all going to attempt to climb into the front of the van, or some of you are going to sit in the back?
I'll sit in the back.
Back.
When you open up these double doors, you find taking up most of the space is a big old rectangular box.
How big is the box? Lengthwise, about 6 feet, 5 and a
It's
quarter.
a little under.
And how wide? We're talking coffin wide? A little wider.
Well, it could potentially hold a person inside.
Is there a big triangle on the top of it? Looks like the Delta symbol. I'm just kidding.
No,
Let's get in.
literally just a big old rectangular box.
Okay.
Medea would get in and get really close to it and like to try to hear if there's anything inside with heightened senses.
You open up your vampiric senses, tapping into your vampiric sensibilities, as it were. The nightlife becomes louder, the occasional driving car sounds like rush hour traffic. You notice birds that you weren't aware of before, and the wind, as a little breeze, sounds a bit more like a more forceful wind, as it were. But obviously your attention's not focused on the environment, it's focused on the box inside, and you don't hear anything.
I would knock.
Little on the thing, it sounds much louder, a bit more boom. There's no response.
Does it sound mostly empty, or is it more dampened? Like, is it filled?
It feels like there's something in there.
I was aware of that, but is it like full or mostly empty? Which direction are we going here?
Mostly filled.
Okay, thank you. Then Medea would just look around to the others and say, "It's big, whatever it is."
I got an idea, but I'm not jumping to conclusions just yet.
I mean,
It's
we
not my
could find out.
No, it's not my business, and I'm not letting you ruin the job.
I mean, we could put it back the way we found it.
Later. If it comes to it, later. But I really need this to go well so they like me, okay?
So they like you?
Why?
So they like me. I need the music label to like me. Just like you need the music label to like you.
Fine.
Do I?
Because for a while, the music label didn't like me. Then let's just leave it at that.
Oh, so you know stuff. That
Oh,
I
yeah, I'm like
probably don't know.
actually old. You guys are like, you seem young. No offense.
that why you called me baby hands?
Yeah, sweetheart.
Oh,
Yeah.
so not because you actually have got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That guy was
Look.
not happy when I asked him about his hands. So
No,
that makes
which
sense
was really
now.
weird.
Yeah.
Maybe he's sensitive
right?
about it.
They're very
but-
big.
Anyways, Byron, like it is literally my job to like test things and ask questions. So if
Let me guess, let's say your division starts with T?
no, it's QA testing. I work for a tech company.
Oh, look
Yeah.
at that. You have a real job. That's
yeah.
cute.
I
Right,
bet you
anyways.
don't.
You don't? What? Anyways, so like it's my job to ask questions and like also like sometimes like test the limits of things. So if you don't want me asking questions, stop dropping juicy little bits of information in front of me, okay?
Oh, that's my favorite thing to be is juicy.
Gross.
Ooh, saucy.
TT's gonna hand both Hannah and Betty. One is gonna get a knife. One is gonna get a gun. And she's gonna look dead at them and say, "The first lesson a revolutionary must learn is that they are a doomed man."
I love you so much.
I like you. a
You have
lot.
said all of but 3 sentences, and I would die for you.
Betty or Hannah takes the gun and just holds it in 2 fingers and just looks at you and goes, "I don't know how to use this.
Okay. We need to start practicing some gun safety. Don't hold it like that.
I don't. Can you just? I will. You know what? I have my own weapons. You
give it-
just
give it-
just take
give
that
it to
back,
me.
okay?
I'll take
I
it.
hand
Okay.
it back to TD because I'm like, please don't give the babies guns.
Quit calling me a baby. I
I'll
guarantee
stop
that I could do
talking.
more damage with a computer than you could do with a knife.
I guarantee that you are very much telling the truth. But
I very much doubt computers are gonna help us when it comes to what's in this box.
oh, most
You
sure.
never know.
Regardless, do we want to get going? We've been chit-chatting a lot.
Yeah, while these guys are chit-chatting, Medea would just turn on Silence of Death and just walk into the front of the car and just sit down and turn off heightened senses. Just ignore them right now.
Sounds like a sensible idea. So remind me of the seating arrangement. Who was sitting at the front of the van and who was sitting at the back?
I'm in the back.
I think we're all in the
Back.
back, except for Medea now.
Yeah.
So there was too many voices I didn't hear then. So Medea,
Sorry.
you at the back.
No, Medea is the only one in the front.
Ah, okay, fair enough. Medea, you have a look at the driver, and they've still got this like very blank, ghostly look in their face.
Yeah. Sad for them.
Fair enough. And the rest of you in the back, you obviously see the box in full of detail, and you also notice that sort of lying around here, there's a couple of other unusual items. Now that you're sat there, to the best of your ability, there is a shotgun, 2 pistols, and a crowbar.
I'll take the crowbar. Actually, you know what? I'm good.
I'll take the crowbar.
You can have the
If
crowbar.
nobody else wants it.
I'm looking for brass knuckles if we have any, or chain. I'll just wrap that around my hands. That works too.
Fair enough. So you're all sort of seated there, and Medea, you notice the driver's still not driving. They're just still sat there by the steering wheel.
All the doors closed now.
Yeah, I'd say unless you've consciously left the doors open, I'm going to assume you will
Okay.
shut the doors.
Can you drive us now?
He sort of like slows his head very slowly, the same blank stare. Hasn't blinked the whole time, just very
Yes.
grey-eyed.
Does anybody have some eye drops? I think this guy's eyes are going to fail at some point.
Nothing can hurt them. TT stabs him in the shoulder.
As you do that, he lets out this roar of pain, which is the most emotion that he's shown all night. He's like, "Ah, what the fuck?" He sort of looks around. What the fuck am I? Who are you?
Oh, you
Good
look
job,
him up.
TT.
PT,
job.
you broke him. Great. Phenomenal.
I dislike your disobedience.
I like it.
Who's that referred to? Just out of curiosity.
TT.
Fair enough.
Okay. What would be a good way to deal with this guy now?
Drive.
And drive where? And he's sort of sobbing, like knocking his hands on the dashboard and the sat nav that's set up and things like, I don't know where I am.
Does anyone know where we need to go?
I think he did before somebody knocked him out of his dominate.
Yes. So, TT, are you going to go after Triple B and ask him where we need to go?
I'll leave that up to Betty.
That's not like me. But I can ask, I guess. Can we see? Maybe he just needs to be redominated. Does anybody know how to do that? Not me. I don't know how to dominate anybody. I've never done it in my life. So,
No.
okay. I guess I will.
What sort of weird sex van is this?
Oh, you don't get that. No, that's sorry.
No. It is a weird sex thing, and you need to stay here.
It is a weird
listen,
sex thing.
You've
It
been.
is.
It is a
Okay.
weird sex. Listen,
Yes.
excuse me, sir. So, and I put the cigarette away, and I look at him, and I go, "Listen, we found you. You were drugged up. We brought you here to the tavern. We thought maybe we'd get you a cup of water, but you weren't coming to. TD got a little excited and stabbed you. I'm so sorry, but we're gonna make sure you're okay. All right? You looked a little pale. How do you feel?"
Medea would just
Saying I
would
was
just-
stabbed.
Medea would just do this to Byron, and turn on all again.
Fix it.
The mortal, despite being in pain and whinging and moaning and whatever else is going on, his poor broken head, sort of like turns to you like his guardian angel, as it were.
Yeah. Listen, I'm sorry this happened, but you said you were into this, so let's just. And Medea would go to that cot that TT left and bite it with lingering kiss.
Ooh. As a mortal, does he need to roll anything for this, or does things just get a bit spicy?
I don't remember. I think it's spicy, to be honest.
Fair enough. I
Yes.
shall. The vampire.
Smart. Very smart.
The user adds dice equal to the presence to any subsequent charisma attributes listed poured against the bitten subject. A mortal fed upon this power can make a willpower test, blah, blah, blah. All right, so. Yeah, he's just kind of addicted to you, basically. So it's not
Good.
moaning as much, but it's just very. Well, he's beginning to look like he's into this, so to speak.
It is a weird sex thing.
I mean, it's now a weird sex
It is
thing, for
now a
sure.
weird sex thing.
Here for it.
I would say that Medea is just like a pack of like business cards with a wrong number and wrong name. Hand him one and just send him off.
All right. Thank you. And he sort of like begins to waddle out. Did you leave the weapon in his shoulder? It was like a out sort of thing.
It was just in and out.
Fair. I just want to be sure. So he sort of waddles out again, knocks the dashboard and the sat nav. He sort of like stumbles. He's not really paying attention, a bit confused, somewhat aroused. He sort of falls out. It's like head over ass sort of thing. The door's open. He kind of slams it. He sort of waddles off, looking between the card, the van.
Byron
that.
sighs, climbs up into the driver's seat, and checks the sat nav to see if it has a pre-registered address.
You flick it on, and it does indeed have a singular address on it that takes you way out into Guildford.
A lick. I guess I'm driving.
Do you know how to drive?
I do know how to drive. Yeah.
I never got my
Good.
license when I was alive.
I'm sorry about that. I got mine when I was 16, so
Oh.
that was a long time ago. But yeah, I know how to drive.
Beep, 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 beep. Yeah?
Let's go.
Cool. And on that somewhat a strange note, I think this would be a sensible place to take a short break, 10 or 15 minutes or so. How does everyone feel about that?
I'm good with that.
All right. Then I'm going to hit the button. Everybody wave. We'll be right back. Bye-bye.
Ciao. And hello, we have returned to the somewhat dysfunctional family. I have removed my jacket because things have gotten a bit hot under the collar, a bit saucy, as things gone very pear-shaped. Our kindred here being tasked by the bodyguard / sheriff to make a simple delivery. Take the thing in the box to a non-disclosed location. Don't open it. And they did some things to the driver. And now one of the kindred is now driving the van, which is totally fine. Definitely what I had planned all along. So, without further ado, let's skedaddle. You sort of drive up this hill, sort of an incline thing more than anything else. There's not so much traffic now, obviously being late into the night, but it's still a busy place. The cars coming and going. You pass the big old shopping centre. You pass some of the old, like, 1960s houses about, British houses, like very old, dated, grimy-looking brickwork sort of things. You drive past the cinema, you drive past the music store, you've probably bought your bass there, Andertons, and eventually you sort of drive and wind away onto a highway, which during the day, which you wouldn't have seen in a very long time, it's just foresty green stuff one way, more plainy green stuff the other way. On a clear day, you would be able to see the Shard in London, just to give you a sort of a distance, sort of like, and flatness. But as you sort of enter onto this highway, that you can see like the cars coming and going. It's a bit more busy now, but for quite some time, it's just a straight line. Two in the front. Byron is driving with Midia to their side, and then the other three. Debatably the most dysfunctional of the lot are in the back with the goods somehow, and within the goods a big 5 foot something or another box. There was a shotgun, 2 pistols, and a crowbar, so nothing could go wrong with this whatsoever. But as you're sort of like driving along this load of straight, what are the thoughts that are going around everybody's heads right now? We'll start with the driver, who was the one who wasn't expecting to be driving tonight.
As Byron drives along this super flat, straight road, Byron goes, I lived in Florida. And that's the only thought that graces their mind.
And is it one of confidence? Or is it one, I've lived in Florida, I can do this?
It's not raining, it's sheer confidence. If it starts to rain, then we are nervous. Until it rains, though, we're fine. Road's not wet. And I'm an American driving a British car on a British road. I got my license. It's fine. And if we crash, we're vampires.
I applaud the optimism there, and I'm making many a mental note.
Oh, good.
The passenger to the driver's left, I had to remember which side the steering wheels were for a second. With the whole American thing, it confused me a little. It was a bit shameful. What are your thoughts right now?
Medea is trying to divide the attention between Byron, who they're not comfortable with driving, and also Hannah, who mentioned opening the box before, which is also something they're not comfortable with because that's against what we said. So just trying to keep the kids in check, basically.
And what are the kids doing, particularly Hannah?
What's in the box? 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 That is literally what's going through her head as she just stares at it.
Do you enunciate any of this, or is it just like a stuck record in your head?
No, it's just the same intrusive thought over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And she is just staring at the box.
I'll come back to that in a moment. What about Betty and Titi?
Titi's sitting in the back and she's wondering, did Big B have big feet too?
I appreciate the honesty. How about Betty?
I feel like Betty would be kind of in a disassociative space, going in between Hannah, Byron driving. TD gave me a knife. Medea bit that guy. And I also want to open the box, but Betty's just gonna sit there and stare out the window. If there is one.
So as I thought, the two kids were very eager to open up the box of potential goodies. How desperate are you to open that box, the pair of you, and answer honestly?
How desperate?
So desperate. I need to know what's in it.
I feel like Hannah's more desperate than Betty. Betty is just slightly curious.
But as I thought, Hannah, could you roll for me composure and resolve?
Okay. Composure and what's my resolve? Four successes.
4 successes. Well, you are desperate, as you described, to really open the box, but you are just, you know better not to, that it's going to lead into some trouble in some form or another. And you're able to control yourself for now. As for our driver, can you make for me Dex and Drive, please?
I sure can. Dexterity. Ooh. And drive.
Can Medea maybe give some helpful tips while driving?
What tips would you like to give?
To adhere to the speed limit, for example, and not do that. Oh, you turn there.
Okay, so could you then roll for me charisma and streetwise?
Oh damn, I can. Three successes.
And I'm going to add those two together. So 3 plus 2 is 5. So you're driving around for ages. All of you are on lost different thoughts, and Medea's probably the only one who's talking. Maybe there's a bit of back chat or something between the two. But out of nowhere, something hits you from the driver's side, and you're able to. It swerves you off the road a little bit. You're able to control yourself barely.
Okay. I call out to TD and I say, TD, get the shotgun.
Yeah, I will say that you all felt this thing just nudge and just shove you.
Did we see anything?
Well,
I was looking out the window.
You would have, whoever was looking out the window, you would have seen this car just like very suddenly just appear from nowhere, just collide into your van.
Rude.
What kind of car?
Bit difficult to tell, given the night stuff going on.
Fair, but is it a van or is it a regular car?
It's a regular car. It's not another van.
Okay.
Betty goes into one of those weird daydreams of hopping out of the back of the van onto the roof of that car and just stabbing whoever's in the driver's seat, but doesn't do it because they don't know how to do that. And just looks over into the rest of the van and is like, does anybody know how to jump on the roof of a car?
I played Grand Theft Auto 5 once.
I mean, are those confident answers for both of you?
It's at this point, I'd like to use soaring leap, and I'd like to test that theory.
Yeah,
So you were wishing to basically attempt to climb out of the van onto the roof and then soaring leap onto this other car, correct?
Yes.
This is going to cost a couple of things because you're going to have to climb up there first, and jumping from this point is probably not a good idea because you go up and they drive away. So could you give from me dexterity and athletics?
Can I help?
How would you like to help?
By exerting driver gaming knowledge on situations that I've played where this exact thing has happened and how I succeeded in the game to make it work.
I feel that's advice that you would direct towards Byron.
Maybe. Yeah, that's true.
I'll take the advice.
And then and then it's like a whole thing. Yeah, I like that.
Okay, so this is a very interesting scenario. So could you give for me, I guess, charisma and persuasion? Byron, what is your intentions here as a driver?
I want to drive real smooth and use the rearview mirror to get closer to that car that hit us to try and like scoot our car back towards there so that it makes the jump a little easier. But I want to be as smooth as possible while TD ascends the van.
Sure. And Hannah and Medea, what are you doing?
Medea just tells Titi to please open the windows of the other car once they're over.
Fair enough. Hannah.
Hannah is. You know what? Hannah's gonna try and jump over with TD.
All right.
Fair. So could you make for me the dex and athletics to climb onto the van first?
I can definitely try.
And T, what did you get for that dex and athletics roll?
I have a messy crit. Altogether 7.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hot.
One.
I'll have to move one.
One success.
Okay, so
I
this
also
is
got
what...
one success, just so you know.
Okay, what, Byron, did you make? I'll get onto that in a moment. Because that goes with a role that Byron should do, I guess, dex and drive. TT and Hannah, we'll do with TT first. With a messy critical, not only do you succeed, but you succeed with the aid of your beast. Like you recognize, or rather the beast at this moment in time recognizes that you are the hunter, that is prey. And so you are very instinctively able to sort of very gracefully and quickly like snap your claws onto the van and like hoist yourself up. Hannah doesn't have so much luck. They are just barely able to hang on with one hand, casting their whole body away whilst attached onto the van like some very unpleasant fleshy flag. Byron, if you could make your dex and drive roll for me, Liz. 3.
And one of them's a crit.
Okay, cool. That drive didn't go too well. So TC, you're on the roof now. Do you go to pounce? You can clearly see that Hannah is grabbing on with barely with one hand for dear life.
Help!
So I
Sorry?
snatch her,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to attempt to use Soaring Leap to jump onto the other car.
With her in tow.
Yeah, I'm just carrying her like a package.
Okay, so if you could do another dex and athletics, and does potence get added here? Let me see, because I don't remember.
I've never been carried across car roofs before.
So exciting.
Okay, that just allows you to jump. Okay, there isn't anything added to that. So what did you get for your dex and athletics?
5.
You are on a roll. 5. Cool. Brian, I will say that you're able to very gracefully, whilst not too aggressively so they don't fall off, like very, whilst being chased, like move over towards this other car. The car is like, they took the brunt of that hit towards you and they're not doing so great themselves. And TT, with Tremere in tow, you are able to leap very gracefully as this sort of van sort of speeds away a little bit. You're away from safety onto danger. It's quite this old beat up car, because when you land, the roof immediately like dips and whoever's inside just sort of like yells out, "What the fuck?"
I grab Hannah and I use her to smash the window.
Can you explain how this works, please?
So you know like how puppies are grabbed by the nape of the neck?
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of grabbing her and I'm slamming her down on the windshield.
Okay. Hannah, do you resist?
Nope. Hannah doesn't know what to do right now.
That's absolutely
Hannah's
fine.
ride or die.
Mm.
Hannah is ride or die, and Sarah is loving every bit of this.
I'm very confused by what's happening here, but fuck it, let's roll with it. This is, I guess, Dex and melee, as you're using another vampire as a weapon here, and you will take damage here, Hannah. Three. Before you have time to regain yourself, Hannah, you're sort of like grabbed by the nape of the neck and just smashed through the window. Again, there's more disgruntled scream, and these drivers are now beginning to swerve a bit more out of control. Hannah, could you take for me 1 point of superficial damage?
I would love to take damage. Thank you very much.
I'd love to take damage.
And as this car swerves a little bit, could you two now make for me just roll your stamina? And whilst this is going on, what do the three kindred do here?
Let's see, where do I notate that? I just uncheck health, right?
Yeah, it's a slash.
A slash. Okay.
Byron is gonna continue to keep one eye on them in the rear view and keep trying to drive straight on the straight road.
Is the windshield broken, or is it still just?
Oh, it's broken. It's very much broken. So
yeah, but is it broken out? Like, is it not just a smashed window, but just an open hole now?
Am I in the front seat?
Do you want to be in the front seat?
Sure.
Fuck it. You're in the front seat.
Great. So Medea would like to take this opportunity, lean out of a window, and just throw one of their knives to the driver.
Okay. Could you make for me Dex and I guess firearms? Probably the best thing here.
Firearms? I thought it would be melee with that.
Fuck it, whatever works better for you, melee or firearms. Just.
Okay.
Well, this will probably have an increased difficulty as you're moving and speeding along.
Can I do something to distract the driver so they don't see the knife coming?
I think they're pretty distracted.
I was going to say, assuming that they're not distracted enough, what would you like to do?
I'd just like to look up at them and say, "Hi, would you please pull over now?"
What the fuck? So, Medea, what did you get?
3 successes.
3 successes. I will say with
4.
4.
4.
Certain.
Yes, certain.
Okay. Where is it? Where is there anywhere in particular that you're aiming?
The head.
Or just 1 sec. Just Well, that was a bot, so I'd say that's fully distracted. They turn to Hannah and's like, "What the fuck?" Begins to use their hand with a pistol through the side of the head. The car now swerves off. Tia, what did you? I got you to roll stamina a while ago. What did you get?
3.
3. Yeah, you're able to barely hold on. Could you roll stamina again for me, please? Bessie, what?
Sorry, are there other cars on the road right now?
Oh, there are. There's some on the other lane going. Yeah, there's like you, the one that's just driven into you and this going on, and then there's a third one just going down, just, I guess, minding its own business.
I hope so.
Better for them.
Betty, what are you doing where all this is happening?
Betty is taking it all in and like trying to cement this moment into their brain for eternity, because this is good shit right here that is happening. And is thinking of ways to open the box for Hannah because they deserve it she deserves it after everything that she has been through. And so that is a plan that is now brewing in Betty's brain as they are watching all of this happen.
Would you say that you're very desperate to open the box now?
Yes, but yeah, that's fine. Yeah, Let's do that.
No, go on. You can finish the rest of that
I
before.
would say, but I would wait until Hannah's back in the van, or at least able to help me open the box. You know what I mean? Like, because Hannah really wants to open the box. I know that, and the whole point is that, you know, sorry you got smashed through their windshield. Let me open the box for you.
But I will hold back on what I was probably going to say there for a moment because, as I said, I'm feeling generous at the moment. TT, what did you get on that other stamina roll?
Messy crit 4.
Again, you're able to stand with a bit more control as this thing swerves off to the left as the driver's been taken out. Han, you're kind of like squashing on somebody else. If to quickly look around, there's a knife that's gone through them and they're dead. You've sort of made that happen. Kudos. However, the driver, well, the lack of driver is now swerving off into a tree. So I will give you a turn to decide what you're going to do now. Otherwise, you're going to go up in flames with the car as it hits a tree.
I would like to grab the steering wheel and redirect the vehicle if I can. Also, open the door and push the body out.
I say that would be... Oh, I'll reword what I do. 3 turns and out sort of thing, which is one of the advanced systems, because that seems a bit more fair. So, 3 turns and out. So, your first turn would be essentially to be able to kick the body out of the driver's seat. Strength and brawl, please. TT, what are you doing?
I am going to jump off the car and back onto our car, and I'm trying to see which would be the best ability for that.
Probably another soaring leap. You could just about do it.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
I'm going to roll these 2 die. And I have faith in these 2 die.
There's no resistance because it is a recently deceased.
Cool. That's 1 success.
You're able to get the half of the body out, but gravity does the rest for you. So it's all like this unpleasant splat and crumple as this sort of like fleshy sort of ragdolly sort of like sort of up and away sort of thing. TT, if you could do your dex and athletics to yeet yourself over to the van. This is not how I was expecting this to plan out. I love it.
Me either. Why did I play a nerd?
4.
4. Again, you're able to... You're on fire tonight, figuratively speaking. You're able to leap across and sort of like land with your feet just on the edge, just able to... You're on there, but there's a bit of balance, but you're able to gently like tippy-toe your way forward. And the goal is to basically to climb back into the van. So if you could make for me a dex and athletics. And Hannah, in order to save the car, you're going to have to do a dex and drive.
Okay.
I believe in you.
That's 3 successes.
Nice.
2.
You've probably used up all your energy now, figuratively speaking. Now it's a bit more haphazard trying to get in. You sort of land on the edge of it and you're almost nearly falling out, losing balance. Betty, you're able to grab TT if you wish and
Yes,
pull her
I
in.
would definitely do that.
Good work, Betty.
Cool. Strength and athletics, please.
I will try to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I will try my best to do that for you.
Cool. Hannah, you said you got 3 successes with... You are just about able to... It hits the tree, but not in the sense that it hits the tree and goes bam. It hits and it's sort of stopping in place, and then its alarm goes off and there's sort of smoke coming out and things. The car is unusable now and the van is sort of like driving away, but you're not dead. Deader, I should say. So kudos on that, I guess. What did you get, Betty?
I got 0 successes, but could I like spend willpower or something? Maybe.
I would advise you doing that.
Yeah. Right. I should.
To re-roll up.
I got
to
1
3.
success. I got one.
I will say because. I will say that you are just about like grabbing onto the very tips of their fingers before falling out yourselves to able to pull TT back in, sort of driving away.
I imagine I would lose my hat. That's like my consequence. My hat flies off into the wind.
F's in the chat for the hat, please, everyone.
It's okay though. It's also getting very hot here. So
So almost all of you made it back into the van. I'm assuming, Byron, you're going to turn around and locate the missing kindred?
It's a highway. I don't know if I can full on turn around, but I can slow down. And also probably stop.
Fair enough. There are bits on the side of the roads you can drive in, put the emergency lights on, sort of thing, just to show that an accident has happened, which isn't technically a lie. And Hannah, if you're able to walk up a little slope back onto the highway and sticking to the edge by this metal railing, you would see that there is a van with its door open, with this box chained in place, waiting for you.
I'm going to do so, and I'm going to do my best to be appearing not as a person in distress on the side of the road, since I did just get thrown through a windshield. And I
Probably bleeding a bit as well.
Probably. Yeah.
Could you roll for me manipulation and subterfuge?
Okay.
And as she's sort of coming through and climbing her way back onto the van, if anybody wants to force to look through this facade, you can roll for me, I guess, wits and insight.
1 success.
No, I don't care.
I'm not rolling, yeah.
Fair.
Not having
It's more
a good
for like
roll.
the people driving by us in their cars.
Fair enough. So yeah. Do you want to heal that bit of damage before you set off?
I'm going to start driving. You can heal or not heal, but we're leaving the scene of the crime.
Mm-hmm. The moment you see Hannah hop in and get comfortable, I imagine if you can shut the back doors and continue on your journey. So in order to heal Hannah, I believe you need to make a rouse check. Is it 1 or 3, or is that for aggravated damage where it's 3?
I think 1 for superficial, 3 for ag, but I'm not sure.
Yes.
That sounds about right. So make 1 rouse check if you wish to heal that superficial damage.
Success.
You do not get hungry, and you're able to close up that nasty gash on your head.
Yay.
Byron will call out to everybody in the car and go, okay, sound off. Who's dead?
The other guy?
Great. Good work. Do we know who they were?
No.
Did they look like civilians or did they look like fucking hunters?
They look surprised.
Oh, good work, Hannah. I respect you. Let's go. That was good work. Good work, everybody. Good work, TD, jumping on cars. Good work, everyone. The knife, well done. Betty, hauling TD back in.
Speaking of the knife, Hannah, did you bring that with you by chance?
No, that other guy kept it, technically.
It's a parting gift.
Yeah. Was it sentimental? Sorry.
No, they're just special throwing knives.
Do you want one of the ones from back here?
They're not fit for throwing.
Oh. Well, I mean, once we're done with this, I can go buy you like a really nice set of steak knives or something.
Oh my god.
They're also not fit for throwing.
I guess Hannah's fit for throwing.
Sorry. Serious moment here.
Oh, we're serious, Kindred.
Never.
For real.
Okay, is everybody mostly good? Or anyone needing, a sippy sip?
I think I'm good.
I'm okay.
Good.
Yeah, surprisingly for all of that, you're still all on 1 hunger.
Perfect.
So
Right. Drive.
you continue to drive on. Street lamps don't work for so long because the sat nav takes you off into the mouth of some woodlands, and when you think that it's going to take you nowhere, it eventually just shouts, "You have reached your destination."
Great.
On a loop.
Okay, everyone just shut up for a moment, and I would try to hear something with heightened senses again.
What is it that you're looking for? So listening for?
We're in woodlands here, so probably noise of branches or leaves or anything being disrupted.
Could you make for me wits and awareness?
I can.
I'll briefly pause the sat nav so it's not saying you have arrived. Thank you for 10 seconds.
Damn. 7 critical.
Well, damn. A regular critical or messy
Irregular critical.
critical? Okay. So there's almost silence in the van. You hear these noises of the woodlands. What would usually sound like the odd chirp here and there sounds more like you're watching a nature documentary of the Amazon rainforest. It's just alive with noise. You could hear the scuttling of tiny insects climbing up branches that sounds rather huge Herculean tasks. You hear the rustling of trees so far away, and there's some rather sinister snarling some way away from you as well.
Snarling, okay. Can I make out the direction where it's coming from?
Straight ahead of you.
Medea would open the door, just say there's something coming from there, and just step out behind the van and use unseen passage and silence of death.
Okay, unseen passage requires a rouse check.
It does.
Can I turn on the brights?
I
You
fail
may.
that rouse check.
And you get hungrier, so you are now on 2. Perhaps
Yes.
it's a stressed response of the beast as you begin to hypothesize and wonder what the fuck that was. Byron, as you turn on the lights, it just illuminates some of the path in front of you. It's just mainly trees, and there is a path forward, but you can't get the van through there.
Interesting. Okay. I throw her in park. And I guess me and whoever's the second strongest member gets to physically carry this fucking box.
Or we could open it.
How about we don't do that?
We could.
How about we don't do that, Betty?
But what if what's inside is a better ergonomically carrying thing than the box?
We were given one instruction not to open the box.
We were given multiple instructions because we had, but the point is, is that I feel like, Hannah really wants to open it, and she went through a windshield. So.
And I went through the 80s. So what? We're carrying the box.
Fair. Okay. What if we don't open the box? What if we just make a window into the box?
What if we shake the box like a Christmas present?
Let's
But
not
what if we
shake the
break
box.
What's in the box?
I'm willing to take tiny peephole window.
Medea
That
is going next to Betty, who can't
Medea
see
has
them.
unseen passage active.
Yes.
Mhm.
And just whispering, "We won't do that."
Betty, you good?
Yeah.
Ooh, what happened?
Anybody know where Medea is?
No. She went that way. Or they went that way.
I don't think they want us to open the box.
No, I don't think so. You know what? That's probably a good idea. Let's just carry it. TD, are
But
you
Medea, what if you go? You can just go in there and then find out what it is, or see in there in your ghost thing that you do or something,
Oh,
right?
Betty.
Isn't that?
No.
Is that not how it works?
No, sweetheart. No.
Oh.
TD, are you strong? You seem strong as shit.
Let's go.
Let's carry the box.
Could the pair of you do strength and athletics, please? And I'm assuming the other 3
Oh, Lord.
making their way out of the van.
Alex.
Yeah.
I have a lot
Loving the
of
optimism.
dice. Hang on. I'm gonna burn a willpower.
Same.
I made no successes. Let's try again.
Be fine.
2 successes. I rolled over 5 dice and I got no successes. I was like, I'm willpowering that. It's not acceptable.
So, what does it mean if you have 4 crits?
So, are you using the regular die or the V5 hunger die? Just so I can get the image in my head properly.
Regular.
So you have 4 10s.
Yes.
That's 2 sets of crits, so 4. That's 8 successes.
So I have 10.
Why am I carrying the fucking box?
Once again, TT is literally doing the most majority of the heavy lifting. You seem to be having, I guess, the heavy end, Byron. Maybe that's how you're going to make yourself feel better with this. But TT, this is nothing.
I guess I start waddling into the woods with this box and tea.
Now, because I'm in a nice mood, do any of you take the sat nav with you, or is that just staying in the van?
No technology, no tech.
What?
I would not think to take it, but
I don't
I
trust
would
that
not
shit.
be upset if somebody else took it.
I have a paper map. I don't trust that bullshit.
I would like to take it without Byron seeing.
How dare you?
I'd say that you managed to do that because they're concentrating on the front. You can just out the front.
I will switch it off though. I know that much.
Fair.
What about the stars, man? You don't need tech.
So,
Medea would just pop in front of you, Hannah, and just open their hands. Give it to me for a sec.
I turned it off.
Give it to me for a sec. You got it back.
You're not going to do something weird to it?
No.
Okay, fine.
I would like to completely factory reset this piece of tech, like no trace at all left.
okay. Could you make for me intelligence and technology?
I
Hannah,
can do that.
Are you watching what Medea's doing with the sat nav? Let's see how successful this roll is first before I have you intercept. 3. Could you now make for me, I guess, a dexterity and technology?
Okay.
No?
Thank goodness I'm good at technology. 3 successes.
And a tie, it goes to the active participant, which in this case would be Medea. Now you can spend a point of willpower if you wish to amend that, if you think it's really important to you.
Honestly, having it, the factory reset won't be an issue. I don't think. Maybe. I don't trust that look on your face. Yes, I'll spend the point of willpower.
I'm saying nothing.
I've been in enough of your games.
What is that supposed to mean?
Yeah, I'll spend a point of willpower.
Can I too spend a point of willpower then?
Okay, then.
Drive these characters like stolen cars. It's a one shot.
This isn't the kind of mean I meant.
Oh.
Betty is just just waiting to see what happens.
So I got no 4
Battles.
successes.
I have nothing fun that I can use. Fine. You know what? I'm just going to let it go. Just in case we're walking into something nasty.
You're not going to roll? Not going to spend a willpower?
No.
Fair enough. With that roll, you're just about Medea to reset the sat nav. Hannah probably works out a little too late what you're doing.
Did you really have to do that?
Yes. We probably shouldn't propagate this address or where we came from any more than we need to. And you can still use it. It's still worth the same as before, at least to people who would buy it or sell it or
Yeah,
need
but
it.
now I have to go through the setup process again. And do you know how annoying those menus are? They treat you like you're 8 years old. And
If you want to, I can do that later for you.
no, I can do it. It's just annoying.
I know, just saying. I wanted to do something nice, but if you don't appreciate that, that's fine. And Medea will just turn around and go.
Jeez, passive aggressive. Stomps off.
So, with this interesting battle of wits and speedy fingers, everybody is slowly marching, some slower than others, into this dense, deciduous British woodlands in this pitch blackness away from the last bit of safety that you have. Could everybody make for me wits and survival?
Oh,
Before we fully march into the abyss, can I talk to Betty real quick?
Sure.
Hey, Betty, can you go get me the crowbar, please?
Yeah, and Betty will just like hand it over because they had it like strapped to their thigh.
Great. Just hold on to it because I gotta hold on to the box, but
Okay.
cool. Thanks, Betty.
Question.
2. Yes.
If I'm still using heightened senses, can I add anything to that with this roll?
4 successes and a critical.
I will allow that.
A messy critical.
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said, Byron, sorry.
I got 4 successes and it's a messy critical.
Okay.
Did you say wits and resolve?
No, wits and survival.
Survival. Okay.
Hannah had 3 successes.
All right, so you all managed to not injure
Yeah.
yourselves for the most part. Byron, you're probably more aware than everybody else because you're like, given the previous conversation, you're like super aware, like, you know, avoiding anything that may cause you to trip. Media, however, doesn't have the same luck. They trip their foot on a tree root and they sort of tumble downwards a slope, and you can take from me 1 bashing damage if that's a thing here. It doesn't hurt too much, it's just inconvenience as you sort of tumble and fall your way down into a little stream. Not much, you know, not even foot height, but you're just a bit damp.
You good?
Yes.
Did you just bridge to Terabithia us, or are you okay?
I'm still here.
Okay, good.
I will make my way up the slope back to them.
Cool. Strength and athletics, please.
Oh no.
Do you need help?
Do you need something to help you navigate out of there?
No, thank you, Hannah. How kind of you.
How annoyed is Media by that remark?
Not too much. They
Fair
don't
enough.
want to cause a stir. 2 successes.
It's a lot slippier than you thought it was, but you are able just like really digging your hands into the mud and putting your foot into it. You're able to like literally crawl your way back up to the top. Your party of waddling kindred ahead of you. Can you all again make for me wits and survival?
1 success.
2 successes.
Another
had the-
critical success, but regular this time. And
Fair.
3.
Who got the 1 success, or did I mishear that? 1 crit, 2 Hannah.
3 successes and 1 crit.
So just a regular successes across the board, yeah?
I have a critical success.
I had 1 crit
Again,
too.
I had a critical success and totaling 3.
so 2 critical successes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, Hannah and Byron are a bit more on the board. Perhaps a bit more distracted, but you are like trying to keep vigilant. Maybe your mind's a bit more focused on Media, some more spiteful than others. Just going to hint at that. But you do manage to keep yourselves together. And I'm going to ask you to make that roll 1 more time.
Can I have Sense the Unseen up?
Yes.
Okay.
2 successes.
1 success.
3.
3. So no one got higher than 3. Okay. And you having unseen the particular power, sense the unseen.
Mhm.
Yes. In this bit of the woodland, you all manage to keep yourselves together. It gets a bit more tricky now. Byron and TT are probably getting a bit tired, I guess. Mentally tired, just carrying this big old heavy sort of person-sized box about. Be able to keep yourselves together. And Hannah, sort of like focusing around, you don't see anything too out of the ordinary other than the limp spirits that are sort of suspended in place, but nothing that seems to you untoward. That is until you hear a howling of a wolf not too far from you.
Animal. It's easy.
Is it though?
Are you weak or something? And I set the box down, and I'd like to reach for the crowbar from Betty.
Excuse me, I went through a windshield today.
Great, let's go through some wolves. Betty, crowbar me.
Here.
So just as the paint the scene here, are you all gearing yourself up for a fight?
Ready to kill wolves, yes.
Medea is going stealth mode again. I'm going to reactivate unseen passage.
That is totally understandable. So that requires you to make another rouse check.
Yes, I succeeded.
Cool. You do not get hungry. Your beast is able to control itself and not panic and flap, as it were, with the potential of incoming doom. There is another howl. It is getting closer, whatever it is.
Let's go, babes.
No one else going to do anything?
I'm going to take out my knife. I'm going to position myself next to the box for no reason.
I am going to make sure the box is protected from oncoming threats.
Does this sound like a wolf or a werewolf?
Intelligence and occult, please.
Let's see. No successes.
It's a wolf.
You're just a bit spooked by the fact there's a wolf that's just howling and it sounds more aggressive and it's coming towards you like it's a wolf. Like, what can possibly happen?
It's a wolf.
Yeah, only this wolf is much larger. It's about 8 foot tall. It's running to you on its back legs and it's got claws and fangs going. Anyone who's got half a brain cell within the kindred world will recognize this as a werewolf. It's not obviously here to talk. It's here just to rip and tear. And I guess as we're entering combat, the players move first.
Byron would like to immediately go, oh, fuck no, and try to pick that fucking box up and get the fuck out of here.
What? I thought it was just a wolf.
Decides, no.
Medea would just say to Byron, we delivered, we can go. Leave it.
I try to go for the box because I am pretty strong.
Is TT going to resume carrying the box with this hunk of fur and muscle coming towards them?
TT has not put the box down.
Fair enough. So Byron just let the box down. You're just holding up your end. Fair enough. So you're now, Byron's you're holding the box again up, right?
I'm ready to help TD get this box out of here as fast as possible.
All right. Betty and Hannah, what are you two doing as Medi has gone into stealth mode and just, I guess, for all intents and purposes, beginning to fuck off?
I feel like Betty would stick with TD and the box.
I mean, it sounds like a good action plan at this moment.
Wherever the box goes, Hannah's going.
Yeah.
So the idea is that you're all basically trying to escape with this box.
Haul ass.
Okay, so I guess you're all going to make for me Dex and Athletics to try and get away from this werewolf.
Can I swap my Dex for my strength since I'm carrying the box?
I'd say so, yes, if you wish to do that.
No successes.
Could I also use fleetness?
Oh, I also have fleetness.
You both may.
Let's do that. With fleetness, do you just add your celerity to your pool?
I will allow that. I can't remember the exact ruling, but for the sake of things, I will allow that.
Okay. Holy crap. 1, 2. I'm going to burn a willpower. Successes.
5. Okay.
9.
9.
6 messy critical.
Okay, and Betty, what did you get?
I had 3 successes.
Betty!
Hey!
With varying degrees of success, you are able to, I guess, turn, dodge, whatever it with the box, except for Hannah, who's now picked up by their face, by the werewolf. Claws around the face, and you feel
We'll tell your story.
you feel those sharp claws beginning to dig in around your skull, and this horrible smell of flesh and God knows what as it just roars in your face.
She's been meaning to talk to you about your car's extended warranty.
Oh my god.
That's how. Okay, fair enough. I know. I'm not. Gonna
Hannah dies. Hannah's last words.
What's everyone else doing?
Fleeing the scene and abandoning Hannah.
Medea turns around and throws another knife.
You're throwing a knife at the well.
Yeah, not at Hannah.
I just wanted to make sure.
We're silencing you.
Betty.
I feel like Betty would be kind of torn because Hannah really wants to see what's in the box. So, like, they would stop for a second and then also throw their knife, even though Medea said it's not a throwing knife. And they don't know how to throw knives, I don't think. But it's worth a shot.
Mm-hmm. Literally. So the two of you could roll for me Dex and melee. And the other two can make your previous rolls to scuttle off with the box. Hannah, you, unless you want to do something to try and get out of this grip, or was just the whole car insurance thing your turn?
I honestly think that's her first reaction is to say that. I can try and roll something. What would you want me to roll in this instance? Because she is not very strong.
Well, I'm assuming she'd want to get out, or just so like they're struck that she can't do anything.
No, she'll try and get out.
I got a bestial favor.
Okay, I'll deal with that in a moment. Oh, that's very interesting. That's very interesting here. Could you roll for me, Hannah, I guess, Dex and Athletics?
Okay, let's see. That's a no. Dice tell the story, folks. That's a big old no success.
You can spend a willpower to re-roll up to 3 regular die.
Hang on. Would I do this? No.
Fair enough. Medea, what do you get?
4 successes.
4. And TT and Byron, with your scuttling of the box, what do you both get?
I got 6.
Nice. TT, how about you?
I was listening to the story. I forgot to roll.
That's totally fine.
Too good.
Valid.
As you do that, I will narrate what happens. Hannah, you're just like shock, whatever. Neddy, you do manage to throw a knife and it gets it in the thigh. It sort of howls a little bit, but it's not enough to let the wolf to let go. But its grip is loosened a little bit. Betty, oh Betty,
Betty.
Sure, you throw the knife and it sort of lands in the grass, maybe, but you're just kind of intrigued by this situation. Your whole evening has been focused on Hannah, and these flirtations with death are just beginning to come towards you, and that's just all that you're kind of focusing on now. Maybe just sit this out and just see who dies first. Just that's kind of your focus now. This obsession with death.
Who is gonna be the tragedy?
Indeed, as is such the curse of one of the Hakata. So I believe, without consulting Cult of the Blood Gods, that this adds a certain difficulty to anything that's not related to focusing on death. I will just precariously grab my copy of the book.
I love how you have like an entire library of like every World of Darkness book. And you're like, oh, let me just consult my library.
For those who are interested, I have 5th edition stuff up here. We have some legacy stuff there. We have Dark Ages there. A whole bunch of werewolf and other non-mentionables there. And then the other cores are down there. And we've got Chronicles of Darkness over there. Anywho.
I have the novels.
I mean, it's one thing I'm good at. It's failing rolls. So
Betty, no.
So Betty, if basically anything that doesn't revolve around you causing or predicting death has a 3 dice penalty, and or that until the end of the scene.
That is spicy.
So TT, what did you get with your scuttling of the box? So the two of you are now working in conjunction as fear is taking you away, just scuttling away into the darkness, leaving Medea, Betty, and Hannah now properly with the werewolf.
Goodbye.
What's the plan of
That's
action now? Byron and Tita, I assume you're just going to carry on with the box until you get to somewhere safe. Okay.
I'm looking for a destination that is not werewolf.
Sure. Make for me one more of that particular role. Medea, Betty, and Hannah, what are your actions?
I'm going to try and kick the werewolf.
Okay.
I'm assuming that I can't really like see if it's got me by the face.
No, you just see like furry, muscular hand or claw, whatever you prefer, whatever makes you feel better in the moment.
Do you have to exercise for those hand muscles? You just come as a werewolf normally.
It's all this
doesn't respond, just howl, and that same vice-like
Yeah.
grip returns, but it's tighter now. What are you doing, Betty and Medea?
I'm throwing my last knife.
Okay. And Betty?
Betty is going to just start staring at Hannah and the werewolf and just waiting, predicting in their mind which one is going to die first.
All right. Okay, so Medea and Hannah, could you make... Well, Medea, can you roll for me Dex and Melee? Hannah, Dex and Brawl. Byron and TT, you've made your roll. Byron, what did you get?
I got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 2 10s. So 4 successes, 2 10s. That's gonna make it. It's 7, right? Did I do math correctly? Yeah, 7 successes. And
Sure. I will narrate your box scene momentarily. What did Hannah and Medea get?
I'm here once again to tell you all that I got no successes.
Oh my god!
Do you want to? Are you going to spend some willpower to re-roll that?
Man.
Yeah, I will.
Oh man.
That sounds like a good idea.
What am I supposed to do with that? You were so cool.
1 success.
Okay. Medea, you do manage to throw this roughly in the same place, but a bit off, and the wolf howls, but this time it really pisses it off, and it squeezes more around Hannah's face as a result. These claws are now embedded into your face, Hannah. That slams you on the ground. And can you take from me 4 points of aggravated damage?
I would love to, thank you.
You're very welcome. As for the ones carrying the box, I'd say that you're safely away. You can hear the screaming and the howling and this horrific bloody onto the ground as Hannah is just like a rag doll, like a child of a temper tantrum with their toy, just slams her onto the ground. And by the way, it's still holding you by the head. But as you're carrying this box away, the two of you just hear a very ominous...
One more time. You cut out a little bit.
A very ominous whisper of in the air of place it here.
Just drop the box.
How far away are we from Hannah?
I would say that you are kind of the halfway point between werewolf and van. So you can't see them, but you can't see them, but you can hear from the distance of the noise behind you. I wouldn't know what feet and meters are because I hadn't worked that bit out, but quite a distance away from them.
So if I were to use Soaring Leap or Fleetness, could I get to the werewolf rather quickly?
I would say so that you could do that in a turn. Yes.
Okay.
So
what was your action now, Byron?
I put the box down now that the strange whisper of the Methuselah told me to. And Byron is going to turn around, look at the werewolf, and go, I can't believe I'm doing this, and run with fleetness to try and save Hannah or save Betty or someone, maybe, we hope.
As the pair of you put the books down, you sort of begin, like, really with fleetness run away. From the distance, you hear the horrific sounding of the crunching of wood, and then nothing.
Told you.
But you two are able to very quickly arrive at the scene. But as that is happening, what's Betty and Medea doing? And Hannah, who's the plaything of a very now pissed off werewolf.
Blindly kicking at the wolf.
Fair enough. You go for your Dex and Brawl. Medea, what are you doing now? I'm assuming that you've exhausted your throwing knives.
Yes, I have.
So that's just a dex roll for me, by the way.
Okay.
Does Medea notice that Byron is making their way to them?
I would say you still have heightened senses active, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah, this probably sounds very horrific for you. Like, you feel that Hannah is breaking quite a lot here. It's all very fleshy and just nasty and dankly moist, just as body and whatnot just flops around like a dying fish out of water. But you hear like the rustling of leaves and grass as these two just like fucking Sonic the Hedgehog just like vroom, just sort of return back to battle positions as they were, just they're on their way.
Okay, so then I would just scream at Betty, do something, and make my way to the werewolf and try to grab my knives and just get them out again.
So what, you unplug them and plug them back in?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Okay. So could you do that for me, Dex and Melee?
Of course I can.
And does Betty do anything in response to...
Betty goes full fight mode. Like, not like... falls out of like whatever they were doing. And like they were like in their zone, and then they like hear Medea be like, Betty, do something, and then they just go, ah, and then they like just run at the thing and then stab it.
Fair. Where are you stabbing, just out of curiosity?
Hold on, I can't hear anything you're saying because my thingy stopped working right. I mean, why is it not?
Everything all right?
The struggles of live streaming and technical difficulties.
Yeah.
This is great though, because this is buying me a lot of time to like read my powers in my book. Like,
now I can hear. My other headphones just like died. Sorry.
Oof.
my God.
So I asked, where is it that you were stabbing?
Whatever area is like the biggest that I have access to.
Probably its leg. Well, there's its torso, but the leg is probably easy to reach at this moment in time.
Yeah, then the leg. Give me some of that thigh meat.
So could you give me Dex and Melee?
Yeah.
And whilst this is about to happen, our two Bruja, or Bruja, depending on your preferences, what are you doing now that you've sort of like sprint onto the scene?
Byron is going to pick up that crowbar off the ground and swing using both my rapid reflexes active and my lethal body.
Okay, and what does that do mechanical rule-wise?
So lethal body is its own thing, and I dropped my book. Hang on. Okay. So rapid reflexes is in case the werewolf tries to attack me.
Yes.
And that's a celerity power. But lethal body says system-wise, the user's unarmed attacks, well, I guess I'll just use my fist, can now do aggravated health damage to mortals. If desired, they also ignore 1 level of armor per potence level of the user. So however you want to take that, storyteller.
Sure, fair enough. Medea, what did you get, and Betty, what did you get for your dex and melee?
5 successes, messy critical.
Yeah, 2
Okay.
successes because I can't fight.
Fair enough. I will document, however, what the werewolf does with Hannah first, because that's the werewolf's focus at the moment, this thing in their hands. They're not going to focus on you. They're not going to make an attempt to dodge you. I will say, however, that werewolf did roll pretty well. And Hannah, what are your last thoughts as you feel your head beginning to be crushed?
I should have taken the gun.
Bone and flesh and God knows what else just splurges out of the fingertips, kind of like a kid playing with like raw meat or Play-Doh for the first time, and they get fascinated how it just oozes out of the digits, as it were. But this kindred is, quite frankly, no more. And that's when the stabbing happens. Betty and Medea with varying degrees of success. Medea, you're focusing on the wound to, I guess, with your beastly instincts. Oh, let's make the wound a bit better. Your hunter instincts of the vampire kicks in and just, it rips and tears, and this howl of the wolf is like resonates toward outside of the forest. Like if there are any birds around, because you still got your heightened senses active, you hear birds just fly away. Any that chose to stay around in the vicinity just like scatter into the wind. Betty is just a bit more into the fire. And Brian and Titi, remind me, what were you doing?
Punching with my lethal body fist, which lets me ignore 1 level of armor.
Fair. And Titi, what are you doing here? I can't remember if you said anything.
Titi is going to run, grab Medea and Betty, and run back towards the van.
Fair. So I'll say with the stabbing that happens, Medea and Betty, do you resist this quick snatching of the fleetness from TT?
Yes. I'd say my beast is very focused on stabbing.
Fair. So this would be a little context between you two now. Betty, do you resist being pulled by TT?
No. TT can pull me anywhere they want to.
Fair enough. So there's no roll with you. So TT, could you roll for me, I guess, Dex and Brawl, and Medea, Dex and Athletics to get away? But the general state of the werewolf now is that with all this stabbing and the really, I guess, supernaturally enhanced hench punching, that it's clearly done a number to its leg.
Yes.
But of course, with 1 dead, it now focuses on the remaining 4.
Did you want me to roll to punch werewolf?
If you want to carry on punching werewolf.
Okay.
So what did you get, TT? Sorry.
5.
Yeah, there is some resistance, but TT is able to successfully snatch you away, Medea. I will allow you, if you so wish, to take your knives with you rather than leaving the knives embedded in the werewolf eye.
Yes, please.
Cool. And TT, you just sort of begin to, I guess, more or less dragging one along and carrying the other because of the resistance of Medea, sort of leaving you, Byron, with the werewolf. And you said you got 5 successes?
Yeah, and I want to break its werewolf leg so it can't chase us.
Sure, that sounds like a good idea. You've got 5 successes. You're quite lucky because this werewolf got 3 successes. It's sort of like you can hear like a really horrific as you sort of like snap something away, and it howls more in pain, and it's going to go and swipe you. So could you make for me a Dex and Athletics?
With my rapid reflexes, what would that do?
I believe that allows you to add your celerity to any Dex-related rolls in this instance, but allow me to double check that so we can do this properly.
You said Dex and what else?
Athletics to dodge. Let's see.
Okay.
With this power, vampires suffer no penalty to their defense pools for lacking firearms. They can also make a mine action worth up to 2 dice per turn, such as readying or reloading. So yeah, just add 2 dice, I guess.
Okay.
Maybe not the exact wording of the rules, but sod it.
It's 3 successes.
3 successes. I actually should roll that again, actually, because I didn't do that just a moment ago. 3 successes. Hold on.
You storytell the same way I do, where I'm like, yeah, the rules are guidelines. I'm God. I make up the rules.
I'm kind of loosey goosey, and it's a bit vague, the wording there, and I think it seems a bit odd that it's only focused on. Anyway, it's whatever. So yeah, 4 successes the werewolf got. So it doesn't send you flying like it intended to, but it definitely winds you in the gut, like. So could you take for me a point of superficial damage?
Okay, I still have 4 left, unchecked boxes.
Cool. So our remaining 3, I'd say, just to speed things up a little bit, that you're sort of like carried along to the van. What's the plan of action?
Now I really want to open the box.
I think the box opened itself.
Probably. True.
When we have seen, like, when we would run back from the werewolf to the van, we should pass the box, shouldn't we?
You would have thought so, but there was nothing there.
Nothing. Okay, interesting.
Never gonna know what's in the box?
Betty, I don't think you want to know.
Has Byron made their way back to the van?
Byron would like to flee the scene now that the werewolf's leg is pretty fucked up.
I will allow you to do that if you do me a Dex and Athletics.
That's less good. I'm less good at that. I'm better at punching. I'm gonna re-roll with
And for the sake
willpower.
of transparency, the werewolf is going to attempt to chase after you, but I'm removing a couple of dice from its pool because it is a bit injured.
Because I got a 1. I hope the werewolf fucks it up.
I got 5.
Choke.
It got 5. You begin to run, and it grabs you by the torso.
Fantastic. I'm just gonna continue. You know what? Running's not good. I'm gonna keep punching this werewolf. I want it to let me go.
Do for me Dex and Brawl.
Dex and Brawl. Okay. Can I add the celerity that we've been doing? Dex and Brawl. That sucks. 1, 2, 3.
I mean, if you're attempting to do it quickly, like boom, 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 I will allow you to do it here.
1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, I'm missing 1. Okay, that's it. A critical success. So I got 2 10s, so 3.
2 10s is 4 because it doubles.
Yes, 4. My bad.
And using old term wording here, the werewolf botched in that it got no successes, and as I'm using regular D10s, it got a bunch of 1s. So when it grabs you by the chest, it's kind of like you sort of fall on the ground. It kind of lets you go, and it gives you an advantage as you're like punching away, weakens the wrist or whatever that you're hitting. It's a bit difficult to tell in the night when it's just like mostly fleshy and furry arm, but it does let you go for a moment.
Great.
And I'll give you a chance to
flee again.
Mm-hmm. So Dex and Athletics, please, and I will remove a couple more dice as it's in its Krynos form and not really meant to be running on all 4s. It'll need to get up.
That's 2 successes, and as I run away, I go, "Fucking leave me alone, damn it! Down, puppy!"
Well, you are able to just about get away. It probably like tears your jacket with a claw, but you are able just to distance yourself. And with its leg, it's not gonna have run after you, even with any of the tricks it has up its sleeve.
Great. I want to
So-
throw myself into the van and go drive.
I will say that manages to happen. You're all in the van seated, and I'm assuming that you're wishing to head back home.
Depart.
What's everybody thinking at this point? Do enlighten me.
Byron looks out the window and goes, "Bad dog."
It's so 90s, I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Titi is thinking, if what she thinks is in that box, then what she thinks a Methuselah was in that box.
Yes.
What she
I
probably should have done was open that box, unstaked it, and let the Methuselah and werewolf eat each other's asses while we leave.
But alas, we'll never know if that was actually the case. What about Desi and Medea? What are you all thinking?
Betty will forever have a new intrusive thought that Hannah never got to see what was in the box. That will
I
wake them
also
up
say
during the day.
fair. And as I've just remembered, because you witnessed the horrific slaughter of Hannah, that your compulsion ended when that happened. I should have mentioned at the time, but I was kind of caught in the narrative. So, but it's
Good.
definitely ended now as we've moved on to a new scene. And finally, our self-appointed wine aunt.
Medea is saddened that Hannah is gone now, but kind of glad that they did reset the navigation system, because the werewolf probably now has that.
Not that it matters. You're sort of driving along a bit more calmer now. Less vehicles on the road. It's silent within, just this odd stillness that, damn, someone's died horrifically, and at the same time you survived a horrific encounter with a werewolf. Maybe the rewards of whatever your prince and / or sheriff, or I guess CEO and bodyguard respectively, might soften that a little bit, but you survived a werewolf encounter and managed to cripple its leg. A story that you'll be able to tell throughout the kindred of the town, which may gain you allies, but it may also gain you plenty of enemies. And I think that is a rather bittersweet moment to end our one shot. So that was something. I hope everybody had a nice
That was
time.
so fun.
Yes, thank you for
That was
staying.
great.
I have never
Thank
had
you.
so much fun dying. Thank you.
You're
I
very
never
welcome.
fought a werewolf. Well, normally you flee.
Yes.
That is true. And I'm surprised you all stuck around for as long as you did, actually. I'm surprised you ran back.
It's to save your friends.
Oh, we were friends.
Just want to say we were friends.
Yeah, no, not Medea. Medea was not my friend, but Hannah, my friend. Betty, my weird Wednesday-looking friend.
Oh, that's lovely. And I kind of guess passive aggressive in other aspects as well. I'm really glad that everyone enjoyed themselves, and most of you made out in one piece. Rip Hannah, F's in the chat. Yeah, I guess rather waffling on about this, as we've still got some time left, I think with the exception of Hannah, if we could do a little epilogue thing about what our characters would then go on to do in the town. So we'll start with our driver and Punk, definitely not Anarch, Bruja.
Byron's main goal is to use the fact that they took on a werewolf face to face, toe to toe, lived to tell the tale, to finally weasel their way officially into the cam after being an anarch for so many years. And then that is their main goal at this point, to be like, look, I'm useful. Let me in your fucking club. I promise not to betray you and write secret letters to my guys so we can plot the downfall of the tower. I promise.
Fair enough. Betty.
Betty is learning more about the tech side and debating whether to go into QA, and has now opens every box that they ever come across that they're ever curious about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Honoring the memory of this curious Tremere, whose spirit probably resides with the rest of those suspended ghosts amongst the trees, presumably that their ghost exists, because vampires becoming ghosts is a super rare thing. Anyway, moving on from that, TT, what do you do?
After everyone leaves, TT feels bad about what happened to Hannah because she kind of used her to go through a windshield. So she's going to try to find the crippled werewolf and finish him.
Love it.
Lit.
I love that. I wish them all the best, and hope they have plenty of people to potentially come to their funeral. Anywho, Medea, and what do you get up to?
Probably right after this, Medea would go to the sire to tell them that they haven't been found out. And they probably gained at least someone's trust with this, even though they sadly lost someone, but they fought back as much as they could.
And am I allowed to ask what they didn't find out?
Yes, of course. Well, no one found out, or at least no one openly questioned how Medea could use obfuscate as a toreador.
Are you a secret Malik?
No, a secret caitiff.
Oh, spicy!
Pick a bear vampire.
Wow.
So lots of intrigue indeed. But yeah, I really enjoyed running this for everybody, and I'm very grateful for everybody who's wanted to partake and join along. I'm also very grateful to everybody who's donated their money for this cause for Pro Dogs, which I'm exceptionally grateful for. And before I start getting teary-eyed again, I think we should go around the table, do one final send-off, who we are, what we do, and where we can find us, and all that standard social media shawazzle. So we'll start with our deceased, I should say.
R.I.P. Hannah. Hey everybody, I'm Sarah Roberts. You can find me all over the internet as the Hype Goblin. And you can find me playing TTRPGs throughout the week. I'm running Apocalypse Keys on Indoor Adventures on Sunday nights. On Sunday mornings, I am playing in a Pathfinder 2 e-campaign as my changeling Magus Lucy. And on Thursday nights, you can find me GMing a D&D 5e homebrew game that is written with the express idea of supporting the third-party publishing community and not using any of the main source material. And then I do a lot of cosplay stuff all over the internet too. Hypegoblin.com if you want to know more.
Yeah, there is cosplay stuff aplenty, and I really enjoy. I don't usually watch that sort of stuff, but Sarah, and I'm not being biased with this at all, like generally really entertaining stuff. So lots of variety. If you like the characters that Sarah does on this channel and elsewhere, go and check that out. It's really, really awesome stuff. We'll go for Punk Bruja first.
Which one?
Punk.
Okay. So my name is Elise Hawes. You can find me on Twitter at Elise Hawes or everywhere else at Skipper with a C54. I was in the chat if you need to find that username as well. Right now, I'm publishing my own stuff. I'm working on a one-shot for beginners for Vampire, where we take all the usual plot beats of D&D, but suddenly it's vampire themed. That should be coming out hopefully August, maybe September. And other than that, I do other writing stuff for Vampire, working on maybe a novel, hopefully. It's in editing right now. And yeah, I also do some cosplay stuff. But yeah, I do a lot of writing, and I'm also on a few other shows, mostly about vampires. So if you want to see more of this wonderful face, check me out over there.
And do, like, again, more cool cosplaying, TikTok-y things, and seeing snippets of their writing, like really cool and exciting stuff.
Thank you.
Now we'll go to our other Bluja.
Hey everybody, I'm Kitty Kimchi, and you can find me all over the internet at Yep She's Blasian, and you can also catch me on ATL by night, and I'll be dangling out as Jenny Greer, and we have another season coming up this July. So you can catch me on that.
Awesome sauce. Now let's go with our Carter.
Oh, that's me.
Yes.
That is you.
Hi, I'm Jen. Totally not neurodivergent in any way. I'm just a very neurotypical human meat suit. You can find me at Jen Geeky, also at ET1 by night on Tuesday nights, which I think we'll be back Tuesday night. We're getting ready for a very special event that's coming up for that. So excited. And I'm doing Emerald of the Templars on Sunday nights over, I don't know, somewhere. And then I have other stuff coming up too. And so just follow me wherever because Twitter's broken. So I don't really know now. So sorry.
That's absolutely fine. Yeah, lots of culturally diverse stuff there, which is really worth checking out. Particularly the Emerald Templar, like having a look through that. And a friend of mine's one of the authors and developers for that. Like really cool stuff. Like
I play tested it. It's so good.
I'm so mad that I can't get into the game at Gen Con. I want to play it so bad.
Right? And my Templars are so good. I get to be like last time I played, I got to be an Ajima that like cured people with food. So
nice.
We'll see what happens this time.
And talking about Twitter, as much of it's falling apart and stuff, I have links to those various social medias in the description as well as the GoFundMe link, which I'll keep open for another 24 hours or so, just so people who watch this later on still have a chance to donate if you so wish, which would be awesome. So yeah, all the socials and things in the descriptions below. And finally, and biasedly best, Medea.
Rude, not best, but thank you.
Shush.
I'm Rika, at Rikimon everywhere you might think of. And I'm not doing that much at the moment because I'm doing an apprenticeship, which is taking a lot of time, but I'm also writing a homebrew version of the Daughters of Cacophony for Vampire V5 at the moment. And sometimes I do art when I manage to have the time for that.
And they do really great art. I'm not being biased in that at all. And the Daughters of Cacophony need to be saved from the very debatably lazy iteration in their lore sheet, but that's a conversation for a different time, which you could probably find on the Lore by Night podcast, which is something that I run, where I talk about Vampire the Masquerade stuff. I don't think I really need to introduce myself properly here, given that this is my channel, but World of Darkness things, lore, angry rants, book reviews, character creation guides, the occasional video game review, as rare as those are, and also some solo stuff that I'm wanting to do a bit more of because it's been a hectic few months. I, of course, also wrote the Autarkus Storyteller homebrew, which takes adds new features, rules, and mechanics that allows you to play V5 by yourself. You can technically use it with any edition of Vampire, but it's geared towards V5. I also wrote the Kindred Wheelchair homebrew that takes that puts a lot of focus on disability-focused content. It's the first of its kind, not to toot my hoot for a little bit, but it was very important that something like that was out there. I also wrote a short-ish set of World of Darkness-inspired haikus called Brief and Bleak. I'm a fan of alliteration. But on terms of upcoming things, there's obviously the podcast episode next Thursday, which is a little spoiler. We are returning to the Re-Embrace series, where we take a vampire in media and shove them into the meat grinder and make them a VTM character. Rika know who that is, and that's as much as I'm going to spoil. In terms of other upcoming things, next Saturday, I'm actually releasing a pretty lengthy vlog that I've been working on for the last 3-ish months, which is me preparing a convention game that I ran last Saturday for our free RPG day, as well as an upcoming homebrew that I used for that. Well, it was a Chronicles one-shot theme that I've called Ghost in the Shashi. And you can probably guess what that entails. But there'll be more information on that in the vlog next week. And the homebrew sourcebook thingy will be out a week tomorrow, which I believe is the 9th of July, 2020, in the year of our Lord Talos, just to keep on top of our vlog shenanigans. So yeah, that's it, everyone, I guess. You can find everybody on the social media things below. There's the GoFundMe link below. You can join the Law by Night Discord server. Follow me on Twitter and the social medias at Law by Night VTM. All one word, for the exception of Instagram with the underscore sort of spaces. And to be kept updated, follow the Law by Night VTM Twitter and Instagram pages to find out when we will upload with each episode. You can also find out by subscribing to the YouTube channel and clicking on the little bell to be immediately notified whenever we go live. And until next time, farewell.
Bye, everyone.